What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we start off at Mandalay Bay. We made a quick stop there, played for a few hours, only a few hands to talk about, and then we head to SouthPoint to play some 3-5 no limit. So let's get right into it, and we'll see you at the end of the video. I only have a few notable hands to talk about from the 1-2 game at Mandalay Bay tonight. The first one, I am on the button with Ace-Jack of Spades. We are only 6-handed. The cutoff and hijack limp for $2. I raised to $12. The blinds fold and only the hijack calls. He has about 450 in front to start the hand, and I have 300. Flop is Queen Deuce 3 with 2 spades. Great flop for my hand, but he leads right into me for 20. A lot of times this is a weak bet, and a large percentage of the time I will raise here, but something just doesn't feel right, and I decide to flat and debate a raise on the turn. This player is hammered drunk, but has shown a set and 2 pair twice, winning every pot he's played so far. The turn is a 6 of clubs. He bets again for $40 this time. I'm thinking, can I get him off a queen if I stick in a raise now? But something still doesn't smell right, and I do just decide to call, hoping for an ace or a spade on the river for the nut flush. River is a jack of diamonds. Now he checks. So now I have some showdown value, and I do debate betting it for a second, but I decide he's likely going to call any bet with a queen. I check back and he shows kings. Wow. No raise or re-raise pre-flop. Most times I lose my whole stack there, so I'm pretty happy I played it passively this time and lost the minimum. Next, the under the gun straddle is on. I'm in the cutoff with ace-9 offsuit. I haven't really won a pot this whole session, so I decided to make it $18 as it's folded to me. The big blind and straddle both call, both look like pretty good players. Flop is Jack 10-4 with 2 hearts, both check to me. Doesn't feel like a great spot to continue here into 2 players on a connecting board like this without any hearts, so I check back. The turn is a deuce of hearts. They both check to me again, and now I feel like they must have missed as well, so I'll take a stab at it. I bet $30. The big blind calls and straddle folds. So I'm thinking he may just be calling here with a 10 or a big heart, so we'll see what the river is. And the river brings a 10 of hearts. Now we have a paired board with 4 hearts. Not really sure what to do here, but I don't think I can win by checking. He checks again, and I'm going to go with my read from the last time I played 1-2, where it's doubtful he's checking a large flush here. He'd likely put some kind of blocker bet or make a bluff on the hearts. So with that in mind, I decided to fire a larger size bet and put the pressure on. I bet 120. He folds after about 5 seconds. Feels good to finally win a pot, and now I'm only stuck 165 on the session. The game isn't great, however, so I decide to head to Aria to play 2-5. I get to Aria, and they say I need approval from the director to vlog, so that's a bummer. I decide to bounce back to the SouthPoint because the rodeo is in town and they have a 3-5 no limit game going. The night's about to get a lot better. I jump in the 3-5 game. It's 1,500 max and I buy in for 1,000. The game doesn't look great, and I recognize a few regs from the Bellagio 5-10 game. Every player has 1K plus, so it may be a tough game, but I'm ready to play. The first notable hand I have is pocket 4s in the cutoff. The $10 straddle is on from the button to my left. Under the gun raises to 35. I call, and the straddler calls. We go to a flop of 8-3-5 with 2 clubs. The raiser continuation bets for 45. He'll be doing this with almost any hand, over pairs, ace-king, ace-queen, flush draws. This is a decent flop for my hand, so I'm not going anywhere just yet. I call, and the button folds. Turn is the 7 of hearts. He doesn't think long before betting $70. And after some thought, I decide this is the card to make a play on for this pot, as the board favors my range over his. With straights, 2 pairs, and sets, I'm always raising this turn, so that's what I'm going to represent. With a raise here, I put all 1 pair holdings in a very tough spot because they must consider what I'll do on the river. After some thought on what sizing I would raise with those hands, I decide to make it 270 and slide out the raise. He goes into the tank for about 40 seconds and does decide to make the laydown. Nice. 9 times out of 10 I will have it there, so I'm pretty happy with that spot I picked to get that bluff through. Next, I'm in the big blind and I look down at 2 aces. We got a late position raise to 15. We're playing pretty deep, so I decide to make a 4x raise to 60. I will remember the sizing though if I do decide to 3-bet light later on in the session. 60 was a little too much to continue for him and he folds. Next, I have 4 or 5 of spades in the cutoff. The straddle is on, +1 limps for $10. I call, small blind and big blind call, the straddler checks. We go 5 ways to a flop of 6, 7, 10 with the 6, 7 of spades. Monster flop for us with an open-ended straight flush draw, but I'm not loving the 10 as my straight draw could possibly be dead. SouthPoint has tons of different promotional hands they pay out money for, and it's sometimes $500 or more if you make a straight flush. So I decide to call the 25 given that the 10 is on board and I could be drawing at some big promo monies, so no need to inflate the pot at this point. Everyone folds and we are heads up to a brick, deuce of hearts on the turn. He bets again for $55. Not a great card for me to raise on the turn here, and I haven't hit any draws all night, so I just call. If you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate if you could hit that like and subscribe for more free poker content. In the river, bingo, straight flush. Just kidding, it's the king of hearts, we whiff completely. He bets 130 now. He's been tied all night and a raise here won't really make sense, so I quickly fold. Such a beautiful flop to miss, but we only lose 90 bucks on the hand. Next, I look down at ace-king from +1. Under the gun limps, and I raise to 25. The player to my left has been active and puts in the min 3-bet to $50. It folds back to me. He's 3-bet me a few times now and made this min raise multiple times against other opponents. I'm not giving him control of the pot with this hand. I'm going to rep aces or kings here and 4-bet to 175. He goes into the tank for almost a whole minute here. I'm thinking we are about to play for it all, but he does eventually decide on a call. So now we have a pot of about $362. We head to a flop of Jack 8-5 rainbow. I don't love the flop, not only because we didn't connect, but pocket 8s and pocket jacks could certainly be one of his holdings he would have called with to set mine. At the same time, it's a great chance 9s, 10s, or queens could also be one of his holdings. So I'm going to continue with my story and pick a size that I would bet with aces or kings here. I decide on a bet of $225. He quickly folds and says,
Pocket king, no good off.
Marcus, 1-2.
I highly doubt he did have kings there, but you never know. In the next 30 minutes, however, he loses with kings 3 times and shows them face up. Unbelievable. Next, I have queen 10 of spades. I'm under the gun and open to $15. Folds around to the big blind and he calls. We go heads up to a flop of 8-9 king with 2 diamonds. He checks to me. I bet $20 with a gutter ball and backdoor spade draw. He calls. Turn is a great card for us in the ace of spades, unless he has an ace-8 or ace-9 combo or ace-high diamond draw, of course. He checks to me. I bet 50 and he folds. Next, I have ace-4 of clubs. Straddle is on, the button to my left again. It's folded to me. I raise to 30. Straddle calls, and we go heads up. Flop comes queen 7-3 with 2 clubs. Nice flop with another nut flush draw and an overcard. I bet 35 and he calls. He's on the straddle here, so his range is wide open. I'm hoping he just has bottom pair or middle pair. Turn is an 8 of hearts. We miss again, but I still like a bet here as he'll likely fold without top pair. I bet 80 and he folds. Next, I'm in middle position with the ladies. I raise to 15. It's folded to the small blind who 3-bets to 60. This is concerning given his position, and he's also been on his phone for most of the session, which typically means he's hanging out waiting for premium hands. So with that in mind, I just call and proceed with caution. We go to a flop of Jack 9-6 rainbow. It appears to be a good flop, but I'm really only beating ace-king. I think the lightest this player is 3-betting with is jacks. So if that's the case, he already has a set, queens, kings, aces, or ace-king. He down bets to 40, which is a tricky bet. It could be a trap to induce a raise, or it could be an ace-king type of hand. I continue with caution and just call. Turn is an 8, which is a pretty good card giving us a gut shot now. Now he checks. I'm still not quite sure if I'm any good here, as I would likely check aces and kings if I were him for pot control. I think jacks are out of the question now, as he likely continues betting the turn with a set. He also still may just have ace-king here, so I think it's a good spot for a down bet to charge him something if he does have ace-king. I bet 75 and he calls. River is a brick 3, no help, and he checks again. I don't think he's calling the river here with ace-king. I'm not sure if I'm winning. I'm going to go with my read. I go ahead and check back, and he shows kings. I show him queens, and he says, "Where's your 3-bet?" I think he meant where was my 4-bet pre-flop. Happy to lose the minimum there with an overpair to the board. I'm down about 270 on the session so far, and I'm debating calling it a night as the game's not great, but we pick up jacks here on the button. With the middle position raised to 15 and a call, it's time to play a big pot. I 3-bet to 60. Folds back down to the original raiser. He's also been pretty tight as well, and he sticks in a 4-bet to 165. This is probably not another great spot. He has minimum ace-king here, probably queens, kings, or aces. But the other player gets out of the way, and I think we're deep enough here to call 105 more and evaluate a flop. The thinking goes out the window when the flop comes jack 7-5 with 2 diamonds. Now we're trying to figure out how much we can extract here. He checks the flop, which is interesting. He may be checking ace-king here. I think this is another perfect situation for a down bet. Last time I down bet, it was to get some information and possibly some value. This time it's to set the trap if he does have an overpair, and if he does have ace-king with any diamond, he'll never fold for this bet. I bet 80 into a $350 pot, and he puts in the check raise to 400. So now we know he has an overpair. I only have an additional 165, so I go ahead and put the rest in, and he calls. The board runs out 3 of diamonds, deuce of spades. I show top set of jacks, and he folds. He said he obviously had queens, so a tough beat there for him, and he racks up and leaves. So we pick up a $1,500 pot, and we get back into the plus for the day. About an orbit later, 2 players sit down now, so I decide to play for a bit longer. Here we go. Let's get to the last notable hand of the night. I'm in the hijack with 3-5 of diamonds, and I open for 15. The new player to my left is currently getting 1,000 delivered to him in all red chips, and he makes the call. This is his very first hand. The button and small blind also call. We head 4 ways to a flop of deuce 5-6 with 2 spades. Great flop for me, so I continue for $40. As you can see, the new player is still in racking chips here on my left. He puts in the min raise to 80. The other players fold, and it's back to me. With no information but his bet sizing, I decide to make the call here. He may very well have a hand like 7-8, a few overs with a flush draw, 5-6, maybe just a 6. Those are all possible hands. 3-4 is the least likely, so I make the call, as I might have the best hand, and I have outs to improve. Turn is an ace of clubs. I check, and he pretty quickly checks. So now I'm ruling out any straights, sets, or 2 pairs, as he would have fired the turn. River is a 5 of hearts, giving me trips now. The pot is $220. I decide on a near pot-sized bet of 210, hoping to get called here. But something interesting happens. He appears to be gathering a raise here. Check it out. He's piling his fresh rack of 500 together, and he slides out 525. That was the last thing I was expecting. Even though I'm like never folding this hand, given the line he has taken, I still need to think for a second. He min raised the flop, checked the turn, spades missed, and now he's repping a 5 or better. Not to mention my hand is completely hidden since I was the original raiser, so it's really difficult for him to put me on a 5 here. With all of that in mind, it's a pretty easy call, and I toss out the chips. He says, "You're good, I have nothing." He threw him face up in the middle, and it was queen 10 of spades. Still got to give him credit for making a play at it. If I do have a hand like ace-king or an overpair to that flop, he puts me in a pretty tough spot. So feels good to win a nice pot here. I go ahead and stick around for another orbit. I'm up $937 now. It's already midnight. I've been out for about 7 hours, so I decide to rack up and call it a night, book another win for the vlog. Alright guys, that's it. Session number 4 in the books. We got 4 nights of poker play recorded and 4 winners, so it feels nice to be on a little bit of a streak here. We're up about $3,000. Our goal is 25,000 for the year. So I think that's kind of an ambitious goal for playing 1 or 2 sessions a week, but I feel like I'm going to be able to play a little bit more here in the next few months after I sell my business and focus on content full time. So we'll get some more sessions in there. I'm really trying to share every session with you. It's going to be hard to do because it is kind of distracting at the table, but right now I'm only playing 1 or 2 a week, so I'm recording every single time and I want to share it all with you. So pretty happy with the way I played overall tonight. I think there's some spots I could improve on, probably a few pots I could have taken down had I been a little bit more aggressive. But at the same time, in those same spots, it could have been higher variance. I could have lost my whole stack. So I don't know. As always, I appreciate you guys watching and subscribing and liking, supporting the channel. It means a lot. So we'll see you on the next vlog next Sunday. Probably going to be some 2-5 from the win. I think that's where I'm going to play next. So have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you soon.